Good day, it's Peter Temple here with a relatively short video on how you can register your own letters through the post office for a very low cost. And I'm talking about a penny. So rather than paying the post office fees, and of course the post office is a corporation, but it isn't supposed to be a corporation, and as a sovereign, you actually stand above the post office. The post office actually rules the world because the post office is in charge of international trade. It's also these days in charge of the courts, but that still has to, that shoe has to still fall. But you can, I've talked before about how you can invoke the power of the post office through your letters and your autographing of any sort of cease and desist documents or anything through the courts. It gives you the power to stand above the courts in terms of your standing and to let them know that. You stand above them anyway, but to let the court know that, you can use postage stamps and write your autograph across them. And there is another video out on the power of the stamp, which I believe is around 15 minutes in length. I hope this will be shorter. But you can also use you have the power to use stamps on the outside of envelopes as a sovereign, living man or living woman, because you stand above the post office, so you don't get involved in the corporation. And it's very simple to do. It means that you have that kind of power to act as a postmaster if you invoke your power, if you claim your power to do that. You don't have to go anywhere to do that. You just have to claim it and understand that you can do it. So I'm going to take you through a series of, you can see there aren't too many of them over here, slides that just give you an idea as to how to do this. Registered and certified letters are basically the same thing. In the U.S., you use more certified than we do in Canada. I'm in Canada, but it's the same process, same post office, and this doesn't really matter which country you live in. You can do the same thing. So, except certified letters, I think, have to be, I dropped this, to be out of here, have to be done at the post office to get the return notification. I believe. I'm not sure about that. I've heard otherwise. I don't live in the U.S., so I can't confirm it. So I'm keeping this really to registered letters because it's simpler to do that for both countries and have one video that tells the story. So make sure to get a page of low denomination stamps. And I'm talking, 1 cent, 2 cent, 3 cent, something like that. That's all you need. And it's best to get them, if you can, with a matte finish, but it doesn't really matter that much, or even a little bit larger than the normal ones if you can, but they can be hard to find. So any kind of stamp, it needs to have the amount, the denomination on the front of the stamp. Like if it's 1 cent, you need to see that on the actual stamp, 3 cents, whatever it is. I have a whole page of 3 cent stamps that I use, and of course I would have paid maybe $1 for that sort of thing. And that's all you need. You'll also need a blue or red ink pen and a similar colored ink pad, because you have to take your thumbprint and actually put it on the edge of the stamp. And that's why you need the ink pad. And you always use blue or red to signify that you are a living being, okay, a living man or a living woman. So either one of those, it really doesn't matter, but use the same color for both your colored ink pad and the color of the pen. And as always, knowledge is power, knowledge is freedom, and that's what I am attempting to do, get this message out to as many people as possible. So here's an envelope I put together just to give you an idea of what it would look like. You end up having 2 parts. I just did this for Canada because I have access to the Canadian side. This is the U.S. down in here, so I only have the sticker that I grabbed off the internet. So you have a sticker, and it comes with also a receipt that you get typically at the post office. And if you were to go into the post office and ask for a bunch of these, this is what that looks like. Here's the Canadian side. So here's your receipt. And it's with this sticker that you actually put on the envelope, and they both have the same tracking number. So you can go get a bunch of these, and if you need to, just tell them that you're trying to make sure that you leave enough room on the envelope for the sticker, and it's also easier for you to keep the data and do this ahead of time. They give you these for free, but sometimes, if you have an employee that doesn't quite know that, we actually can go to pharmacies where they have post office outlets as well, and they seem to be a little less knowledgeable, or they don't push you too hard, and they will give you a number of these, and so you can do this process on your own. So going back to my envelopes here, what you would do is write the name of the person you're sending it to on this receipt, and then you keep the tracking number. And as I say, the tracking number is the same over here, or should be. These come from different places, so don't. This is not an actual one that I peeled off and used. I'm just showing how they would go on the envelope. Make sure that when you do your address, you leave enough room for it. You saw over. Over here, for example, there's an envelope with everything you need to do up here in terms of the stamp, and then you can see the addresses over here. And the sticker can be quite large. So you can use this for manila envelopes, use it for whatever you want, anything that you want to send registered mail. And you have to keep your tracking number, and you can check your tracking number. And apparently, if you call the post office after it has been delivered, you can actually get a copy of the signature. So, I mean, this goes a long way. But the deal is that when you do this, you have to actually not take them back to the post office. You need to put them in a post box, because they're all ready to go, and you've spent, a penny to 3 cents, whatever it is for the stamp. You've done everything else yourself. They're all set to go, and you keep back your receipt with the tracking number, and you just drop them in the post office. Because if you went back to the postal bin, rather, the post box, if you went back to the post office, they would want to charge you 15 to 20 bucks or whatever the going rate is. So that's how you do it. And here's what you do with the signature and things on the stamp. So here's the stamp that I bought on my page. This is worth 3 cents, and it says 3 cents right down here at the bottom. And then I have done my autograph in blue ink across the stamp. It just needs to go from one side to the next. I don't think it's critical that it goes all the way over to the other side, but it needs to be across. It negates the stamp, and your autograph file, I won't go through that here, but there is a PDF of the file on the lawful chat Telegram channel, and also in the lawful classroom channel, and you can look for that. It's called Autograph, and it's a PDF which will explain how to write your name as an autograph rather than it being a straw man signature. You don't want it to be straw man. This is your living man or living woman signature. Then you also need to write on the date. I put October the 2nd, 2024. And this should all be upper and lower case in blue ink. And then what I did is I got my blue pad, ink pad, and I put my thumb on it, and then you just put a little thumb stamp at any corner if you want of the stamp, and that sets it up that you are a sovereign using your power to use the post office without going through the corporate entity. All right, and so that's what you're doing. I've just blacked out my address. I don't need people sending me stuff. I get enough. Thank you very much. But that's it in terms of what you have to do. And again, going through some of my graphics here, there's your receipt that you fill out, so you have all the information as to who you sent it to and the tracking number. And then this is the slip that you paste onto the actual outside of the envelope on the front. Just make sure it doesn't cover anything. And so that's why you just need to make sure you have enough space on the envelope for that. And then here is your post box. Here's one in blue ink, and here's one in red ink. So you can see you can use either one. But keep the signatures and things consistent. This one used a red ink here for the stamp, but it really doesn't matter that much. And here's the layout of the envelopes, and here's your post box, and you're all done. So as a summary, let's go through this. Your registered letter summary: pick up a registration tracking sticker or a number of them, and a tracking receipt, and you should be able to get those for free from a post office, or go into a pharmacy and get the local little post office to give you some. And you can come up with an excuse for why you need them, they might ask, because you're kind of going around them, so I don't know whether they're going to ask or not. Low denomination stamp, you can usually find a whole page of these, and they keep them at the post office. Just ask for a low denominational stamp, 1 to 5 cents, 1 cent, 2 cents, 3 cents, whatever you want. Doesn't really matter, but that keeps your cost down, of course. And then you want to autograph. This is how to write your name as a as an autograph, as a living man or woman. You do a colon at the beginning, space, first, dash, second, or that's actually a hyphen rather than a dash. The dash is longer. You use a hyphen here. So first, capital letter, lowercase, capital letter, lowercase, hyphen after your first and second name, and then capital on your last name and lowercase for the rest of your last name, and a period. Don't forget the period. That says there is no more. That's it. That's your name. Do that over the stamp so it covers it, and then add the date. I put in October the 2nd, 2024 over the stamp so that those two elements are there. And then what you want to do is you want to get your blue or red ink pad and put on a thumbprint just overlapping the stamp. Usually you put it on a corner so it doesn't get in the way of the autograph. And then you have to mail it in a post box, not at the post office. And that's it. That will let you do a number of as many as you want, registered letters for virtually no cost. And, go for it. You need them typically for the courts. You need them for cease and desist. You might need them for a whole range of reasons. And again, you can put them on large manila envelopes. Just make sure that you have enough room left for the registration stamp that needs to go on it, and that's really all there is to it.